Welcome to another Fairfax Surrogacy Q&A. Today's topic is Getting Started, a step-by-step guide for intended parents. My name is Ronda Blair, and I am the lead case manager here at Fairfax Surrogacy. I am a 4-time former surrogate. I've delivered 5 beautiful babies to 3 different families, both internationally and domestic. And I've been doing case management for 9 years now. And I am just as passionate now as I was when I first started and got into surrogacy. Anna, you want to provide an introduction?
Yes, my name is Anna Bernier, and I am the bilingual case manager here at Fairfax. We deal with a lot of intended parents who speak both English and Spanish, and so we are able to assist in multiple languages. I've been in the fertility field for about 15 years. Started off with intake and then transitioning into case management, although we do multitask and often do both types of work here. I am also a mother of 2, and I have also been a gestational carrier before, 5 times over. And I was able to give birth to 6 additional children, both domestic, international, with gay couples, heterosexual couples, and it has been a great journey so far working on both sides of intake and being able to support everyone with both professional and personal experiences. Magaly?
I'm Magaly Jimenez. I'm also a bilingual case manager, and I work with these 2 lovely ladies. I live in California, and I have been working in the surrogacy field since 2019. I'm focusing primarily on the administrative and financial aspects of surrogacy in the beginning. Prior to this, I began my career in family law, and transitioning to surrogacy has been such a rewarding experience because I genuinely love what I do. It's incredibly fulfilling to help families grow and be part of these beautiful, transformative energies from beginning to end, and providing that guidance and support to the intended parents and surrogate.
Wonderful. Thank you, ladies, for your wonderful introductions. So the first thing is, what is the first step in starting your journey to grow your family? That's what many of our intended parents inquire about. So can we share what the very first step is for intended parents when they reach out to learn more about Fairfax Surrogacy?
One of the main things is having the intended parents fill out an informational request form, just so we can get a better idea of where they are at in their surrogacy journey in regards to what fertility clinic they're working with, what type of criteria they want for their surrogate. And then we do offer a complimentary consultation. Most of them are over video, just so we can make that connection and get to know each other a little bit more on that personal level and see how we can guide them and see where they are at in their journey and see how we can assist them and offer them resources and give them that head start on starting their surrogacy journey.
Once we offer that complimentary consultation, we set up a call. We send some information about our company. We give them a pricing structure. And so they have some talking points when they come into our meeting with us, things they want to discuss. During our first conversations with them and we offer the consultation, we would like to get to know a little bit more about them, just like Magaly shared, what process they've started, what type of information they're looking for. Have they had education into surrogacy? A lot of our intended parents have had some sort of information, or they're just beginning in their stages of connecting with an agency. So we're happy to cater each call accordingly to each intended parent. During our call, we obviously want to make a connection, so we offer the support based on what they're looking for. We discuss our program, what our agency has to offer for them, and we share with the heart of our program, which is our gestational carriers. We discuss in detail their vetting process. We ask about their criteria, and we share our matching process. Ultimately, we go on about their potential timeline if they're looking for a fast journey or they're in the beginning stages, and we offer those services as well as needed. If they're still looking in the beginning processes, we do offer referrals to fertility clinics and reproductive endocrinologists, egg donors, sperm donor banks, things of that nature, or just a starting point for them. Or if they're ready and have had the education and are ready to move forward in the process, we talk about the next steps that are considered to join us in our journey. We do a full overview of the steps that we would take from beginning to end. We review our pricing options. We navigate step by step on what we offer versus what is incorporated within our pricing plans, what are the potential for out-of-pocket costs. And then we get into the fun parts of what requirements they are looking for the gestational carrier, of the criteria that we look for, and if there's any specific things that might add to their specific timeline. And then we share the next steps, how we are going to bring you into our program, how we're going to support you. We're going to navigate your journey with education, guidance, and support. And this is what makes us different from all the other agencies. We offer full transparency within our journeys. We communicate, we educate, we support, and we figuratively hold your hand through the entire process by offering constant communication, constant video calls. We set up timelines with those milestones of the next steps of what to expect. We have an extensive vetting process for our surrogates, and we talk about our fixed fee model, which includes the prenatal and delivery and medical expenses incorporated that. But I think, Rhonda, you may want to add a little bit about our vetting process and a little bit more about our pricing structure.
Absolutely. So, I love that you brought up the support and education and communication piece, because that is such a huge piece of who we are. We know why our intended parents are here. All of our intended parents are here to grow their family. But we like to know who our intended parents are as people. We really want to make those connections with them and ensure that they have everything that they need. And being able to make those personal connections also lets us know what they're looking for, what we feel is going to be a good potential surrogate for them. With those gestational carriers, our vetting process is a little bit different than some of the other agencies out there, which is one of the things that makes us unique. So with our vetting process, we fully vet our gestational carriers prior to our intended parents seeing one of their profiles. Our vetting process includes quite a few things. Things such as a medical record review by our nurse practitioner that we work with. We have background checks and driving reports, not just for the gestational carrier, but also for her partners or anybody else in the household that might be over the age of 18. We also do mental health evaluation for the gestational carrier and her partner. And this is where most of the agencies will stop, but we take it one step further. We even complete lab work for the gestational carrier and her partner. So we're testing for things like drugs and alcohol and nicotine. And then we also do pre-pregnancy panel for that gestational carrier. So if there's something there like a lower vitamin D level, or she's not immune to chickenpox, it allows us to get those corrected prior to her going to your fertility center. So by doing that in-depth vetting process, it really prevents you from having delays within the journey, extra expenses from having to pay your fertility center for another medical screening for a different gestational carrier that maybe she did have nicotine in her system. And then also that heartache and that stress of having to be rematched or having that connection with the gestational carrier, and now you're having to find a new one. So like our vetting process is huge. Another thing that really differentiates us from other agencies out there is that our fixed fee model does include prenatal and delivery medical expenses for your gestational carrier. Many of those agencies that are out there don't include that in their fixed fee packages. On top of that, if your gestational carrier does not have surrogacy friendly medical insurance, our package covers the premiums for that as well. So that means when you're paying for our package, There's no additional expenses that we see that aren't already shared with you that you would have. So that package is going to cover you for almost everything you're going to need in your journey. There are a few items that aren't included in there, such as like fertility centers and things like that. But we, again, full transparency, we do share all of that with you up front. And when we are completing our consultation with you, we do send you a copy of our agency agreement for your review. We know you might not be ready to sign up with us right away, but we want you to be able to review it and see exactly what is in that agreement. So if you have more questions, we can meet with you again and we can go over all of them. One of the other things that I love that really sets us apart is we, as case managers or other Fairfax Surrogacy staff, will go in person to attend some milestone appointments. I was just recently at a birth, and so I was there to support the intended parents and the gestational carrier throughout the delivery process. The parents weren't able to make it there in time, so I was able to assist with caring for the babies while they finished their drive to get there. So being able to make those in-person connections and be there to support everybody throughout the process is huge.
I like how you touched on attending some of the milestone appointments, because we want to ensure that both the intended parents and the surrogates are supported in that portion. So I have been blessed to attend a few milestone appointments with the gestational carriers, such as their medical screening or a transfer, because their companion was unable to attend. And so it gives not only the gestational carrier that in-person support that she needs, but it also gives the intended parents peace of mind that someone is there to offer that support. And also someone who has been through the process gives them a little bit more of an ease for those, jitters in that really important day. And we pride ourselves in being able to do that, thankfully, with the staff that we have. Again, just to give that additional support that everybody is wanting, especially in a very delicate journey.
Absolutely. And we talk about all the things that make us unique, which is fabulous. I think we are an amazing company and I'm so grateful to be here. But intended parents always want to know, what should they consider in evaluating surrogacy agencies? Magaly, what do you think? What should be the important things that they are asking about surrogacy agencies before making a decision?
I think the main thing is the guidance and support that the surrogacy agency is able to offer them. And also, if they have the access to resources. So when intended parents come to us, we are the resource in letting them know these are the attorneys in the industry that you could definitely look into for representation. If they don't have a fertility clinic yet, we can give them the referrals to fertility clinics. If they are looking for an egg bank, we can give them referrals to those egg banks. So it's all about giving them all the tools to get this journey started. And that's one thing that sets us apart, is that we are there to provide them guidance from beginning to end, because this is a long process and we want them to know it very well and know that they are supported and have us to guide them every step of the way. So that's one of the main things that they should look into, that they don't have to worry, we will be there right next to them, holding their hand from beginning to end.
Love that. I do. And another thing I think is really important to ask the agencies too is, what does their gestational carrier screening process look like? You want to make sure that you are fully aware of that process along with their matching process, and to see what all entails with everything. So our matching process is amazing and I love how that works.
I can add a little bit into the matching process. So when we deal with the matching process, it does take some time, but our main focus is finding the intended parents' criteria that they look for in the surrogate, finding the surrogate's criteria for what they look for in intended parents, because we want the match to happen organically. We want the intended parent and the gestational carrier to develop that relationship, since they will be in this journey for an extended amount of time. So we want them to be comfortable with each other. Not only do we focus on the criteria from the intended parent's point of view and the gestational carrier's point of view, we also focus it on the fertility clinic's point of view. because we have to check into the fertility clinic's criteria in regards to the surrogate's BMI, medical history, if there's any complications in the surrogate's medical history, if that's something that the fertility clinic would allow. So minor complications such as the surrogate having low iron, having maybe anemia at some point, or also maybe having gestational diabetes at some point during one of her prior pregnancies. So those would be some of the minor complications that we would need the fertility clinic to oversee and be okay with working with that gestational carrier. So it does take quite a bit of a process, but as long as everyone's viewpoint checks out, then the process will go smoothly. And we work on working on a gestational carrier profile and an intended parent profile. That way they can look at each other's profile and see if they feel a connection with each other. And if that's the case, the next step would be to have a match meeting. It would be over video where they would actually put a name to the face and interact with each other and see if they actually have a connection. So that's a little bit of how that goes. Anna, do you want to talk more about how those match meetings go?
Yes, I love to talk about the match meetings. Those are the excitement for everybody as they've been waiting for this day and to finally meet each other. Like Magaly mentioned, we go through the requirements and we share the profiles to each other. We also offer, in addition to photos, we also offer short video of each person because it shows their personality through those short videos. It's amazing to see how the unique creation of these videos. Some women will stare at in the front and share with their family in the background, or some intended parents will show their hobbies and their pets. And it's very interesting to see everybody's personality in those videos. And when we find a part of the process is, like we mentioned from the very beginning, we get to know you as people, as individuals, and as couples. So we take our time in finding that, to create that right match. We have the unique opportunity, like myself, who works with both. We have the unique ability to meet with various appointments with the gestational carriers and the intended parents, and we find those unique connections. And we look at them in a personal level. Their environmental factors, their diet factors, their family factors, and things of that nature. So when we finally get to the point where we schedule a match meeting where these two parties want to meet, we review the requirements within a video call like this. We are just moderators within that call because we want it to be organic. We just allow for the conversations to take place, and we step in to ask a few questions just to ensure that everybody is still in the same mindset. We want to make sure that the connections that the intended parents and the gestational carrier are created organic and they're genuine connections, because everybody's going to be together and involved with each other's lives, and we want to make sure it's a good connection and everybody's comfortable to move forward. And then we add a few of the requirements from the fertility clinics. We also follow up with that with a group mental health evaluation to ensure everybody understands their responsibilities within a surrogacy journey, such as the intended parents allowing the gestational carrier to attend the appointments, but also be private in some of those appointments, but also the gestational carrier sharing what those appointments looks like, or even allowing the intended parents to participate, as well as the plans for delivery and how everybody wants to move forward with the type of relationship they all want and are looking for within this journey. It also involves, as we move forward within their journey, there are some documents and legal things that we need to navigate with the intended parents during this stage of matching, as well as the journey continues moving forward. Rhonda, would you like to go over some of those things for us?
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. So there are several legal documents that are involved in this process. The first and biggest one is the gestational carrier agreement. So that's the legal agreement between the intended parents and the gestational carrier. It's an extremely long document, so it does take time to review and go through and make sure that you fully understand it. With that document, the intended parent's attorney is going to draft it. They'll review it with the intended parents. They'll send it to the gestational carrier's attorney, who will review it with her. And they will continue to go back and forth with their changes until there's an agreed upon contract. Now, our role in all of this is as soon as intended parents are matched, we notify their attorney that they're matched with a gestational carrier. Once that gestational carrier is medically cleared, we are going to notify the intended parent attorney, the gestational carrier's attorney, that she's medically cleared, ensuring that they have all of the documents needed in order to either draft the document or to review the document. Once we know that the attorneys have everything and they've gotten started on the process, we are in constant communication with the attorneys and the intended parents and the surrogates to ensure that the process is going smoothly. So we determine who has the contract, what stage is it in, do we need to reach out to someone to give an attorney a little nudge, or maybe we've had an occasion where one attorney said that they sent the contract, another attorney didn't receive it. So we just make sure that everybody's grouped together to ensure that there's no miscommunication in that process. On top of that, we do review the final gestational carrier agreement to ensure that it aligns with the intended parents agency agreement and the gestational carrier's compensation package. If there is any type of discrepancy, we do reach out to the attorneys to ask for those changes as well. Even if it comes after everything has been signed, that's okay. We just want to make sure that everything is aligned with the intended parents agency agreement and the gestational carrier's compensation package, so there's no confusion down the road. The other big set of documents that we help with is the parentage order. So those are the legal documents that allow the parents' names to be placed on the birth certificate. Once there is a confirmed pregnancy with a heartbeat, we notify all attorneys involved that we have a confirmed pregnancy. That triggers them to start that parentage document somewhere usually between the 14th and 16th week of pregnancy. Now, some intended parents might have an attorney who is not in the state where the gestational carrier lives. And in that case, they might need a different attorney to assist with that. We're happy to provide referrals, or oftentimes your attorney will provide referrals, or the gestational carrier's attorney is happy to represent the parents in this stage as well. So we ensure that everybody knows who is the attorney regarding the parent orders, ensure that the intended parents and the gestational carrier know the process and what to expect, follow up to ensure that the documents are completed prior to a delivery, and then send a copy of that to the hospital to ensure that the hospital has those legal documents well ahead of that delivery. We do keep a copy of those documents on file in the event that delivery occurs and something happens and the hospital can't find the documents. We are happy to send it to them right away. So our role is to be there to support throughout the entire process with that legal situation as well. Magaly, so what rights or contracts or local laws should intended parents really be concerned about, and how do we help with that?
So one of the main things about Fairfax is that the gestational carriers that we work with reside in surrogacy-friendly states. So one of our main goals is to match intended parents with those gestational carriers in those surrogacy-friendly states so the process can go a little bit more smoother. We ensure that the gestational carriers reside in states where the intended parents will be recognized as the legal parents. And we work with attorneys in those states that are licensed there to represent the gestational carrier and ensure that parental order is established well at the end of the journey.
I love that too. And like you said, we match them in those states that will recognize them as legal parents, because there are some states that won't recognize intended parents if they're using an egg donor or sperm donor or anything like that. So we really do strive to make sure that you're in a state where you don't have to take extra steps to become parents, the legal parents. So we talked about the matching process. We talked about the legal steps. So now we start to get to the exciting parts. We're talking about transfer. Anna, what does that transfer process look like, and how do we help with that?
The way we assist and support you for that embryo transfer, your gestational carrier will travel and be under the fertility clinic's care for the beginning portions of the expected pregnancy. If the fertility clinic is out of state, we assist the gestational carrier with travel arrangements to attend her medical screening and then the embryo transfer. Rather than the gestational carrier flying back and forth during that in-between time, we find a local monitoring center close to her location where she is able to do her updated blood work and ultrasounds needed under the care and orders of the fertility clinic. We ensure that she's well educated about what her specific needs are, how to take the proper dosage for the medication needed for the IVF procedures. We review the calendar once we receive it from the clinic. We review it with her step by step so there is no miscommunication. We also follow that up with the intended parents, allowing another conversation with them, discussing what the process is for their gestational carrier, her medication, the potential embryo transfer date, and any other concerns or questions that are brought up during that time. We also give her some added tips to ensure that she can adjust her medications during an adequate time, or how to organize herself, or just little tips and tricks that we picked up along the way, just to ease some of the anxiety of having to do injections or oral medications. We continue that communication all up until the fertility center, with the fertility center, with the gestational carrier and the intended parents throughout the cycle. And then once we are ready for the embryo transfer, we book the travel and we arrange for the hotel, the flights if necessary. We assist with ground transportation, and we share all that with the intended parents in case they all want to attend this big milestone appointment. As part of the continuous support, we are available 24/7 for emergencies throughout the entire matching and process for the gestational carrier and for the intended parents. In case of situations may arise, maybe there's a delayed flight, or maybe the Uber didn't get there on time and now we need to find another way of getting her transportation to and from appointments. We are available at any time, so there's always someone to answer your call if needed. We are also available after the embryo transfer. We assist with getting the blood work to confirm if the embryo transfer took. And then we help schedule the heartbeat appointments, which are those amazing milestones to confirm if the embryo transfer was successful, would then result into a pregnancy. And we are your biggest fans and your cheerleaders, and we celebrate with you, and we are also there if things don't go as we all hope for. And we continue that communication and that support and education throughout the pregnancy. Magaly, would you like to share what our role is as agency case managers when we are now confirmed with a pregnancy, and how does that look for the intended parents and their gestational carrier?
Absolutely. So once the gestational carrier is released to her primary OB, we step in and we ensure to have frequent video calls with the gestational carrier and the intended parent to give them a clear idea of what to expect from that point on. We ensure that the gestational carrier is established with a primary OB who will see her for the duration of the journey. Sometimes the gestational carrier is located in a different state than where the intended parents reside. So if sometimes the intended parents are not able to attend those important milestone appointments, we ensure that we give them the summary of the OB records every time the gestational carrier attends those meetings, just because we want everyone to have a clear understanding and be on the same page throughout the whole process. We ensure that the gestational carriers visits are done as requested. And then we also make sure that we are on top of all her medical bills. So our fixed fee includes coverage of those co-pays and any maximum out of pocket during her prenatal appointment. And we ensure that all those bills are paid accordingly. And then we also just provide emotional support to the intended parents and the gestational carrier as they are almost reaching the finish line of their surrogacy journey. So we just want to make sure that everyone's on the same page. And we also work with them on establishing a clear understanding of their birth plan. We work with the gestational carrier and the intended parents to get a clear understanding of what their hopes and we work with the gestational carrier and the intended parents on the birth plan to make sure everyone's on the same page and well prepared as we get closer to welcoming that new baby.
And I love that too. And then along with that birth plan, we do meet virtually with both the intended parents and the gestational carrier. We meet separately just in case there's something that one person wants to ask or request and the other person's not comfortable doing it in front of each other. So we do meet with all of them separately. We go over all of the possibilities for delivery, a unexpected natural vaginal delivery that's occurring, an induction that's scheduled, a possible C-section, either scheduled or unexpected. So that way everyone is prepared for all three of those scenarios. The intended parents know when they should come to the hospital, when they should wait in their hotel or their Airbnb before coming. The intended parents and the surrogate know what to expect as far as communication during the delivery and labor process. And we talk about the birth certificates and the documents that need to be signed at the hospital, documents that get signed after baby is born, depending on what state that they're in. And then we continue to be there to support everyone along the way. As mentioned earlier, if the intended parents or the gestational carrier asks, someone from our team is happy to be at that delivery with you guys as well. If we aren't there, we ask that you make sure to tell us that the gestational carrier and baby are both healthy. We need to know when that baby arrived, baby's full name, weight, height, and all of that, because that allows us to trigger many extra steps for you. We notify the attorneys of the delivery to ensure that the birth certificate process can be finalized so that your names will officially go on the birth certificate. We notify the intended parents, the parents' fertility center that the baby is born. That allows them to update their records as well. And then after the delivery, we are constantly communicating with everyone. So there's lots of text messages or WhatsApp messages or emails or phone calls just to ensure everyone is doing okay physically, emotionally, providing that additional support to everyone. We reach out to the hospital several days after delivery to ensure that baby is not being billed to the gestational carrier's insurance, to ensure that the intended parents' insurance company is receiving the medical bills. There's documents that everyone signs to ensure that we have that access to be able to communicate with the hospital. And then we follow up with the intended parents as well to ensure that they've received the birth certificate. If they are international, we want to ensure that they've received all the legal documents that they need for their home country, that they've received the passport, and that finally that the parents are home with baby. And we want to see how you are transitioning when you're home. We know that you're getting on a schedule. All your family and friends are coming to see that little one, or ones if you had twins. And then finally, we are constantly communicating, ensuring gestational carrier's medical bills have all been paid. There's nothing outstanding, ensuring that she is healthy from this journey as well. Ensure that the gestational carrier is healthy as well, and that there aren't any additional complications that she's going to need ongoing care for. And then we continue to connect with intended parents and the gestational carrier quite a bit through that first year of baby's life. And then every year on everybody's birthdays, we don't forget about any of our intended parents or any of our gestational carriers. Again, I've been doing case management for 9 years, and I love seeing updates on my intended parents and the babies and gestational carriers. I'm friends with a lot of them on social media, and just making those personal connections is so huge. I love it. Anna, Magaly, do you guys have anything else that you want to input into this step-by-step guide?
I think just adding on to their continuous communication and support, because we're here from the very beginning and beyond. We don't consider an end of journey. We just consider end of chapters and steps that we have taken. We like to, like Rhonda mentioned, we like to continue communications with our gestational carriers and our parents, with the children that are born and our gestational carriers. Most of them want to come back and do it again. Sometimes we're blessed to be able to do sibling journeys. And so those are always the most exciting experiences for us. But a lot of it is knowing that we have supported everybody in these steps and that we played a small role in ensuring that we got two strangers together to create this tiny miracle of a baby.
Thank you for attending the Q&A on Getting Started, a step-by-step guide for intended parents. Should you have additional questions, please reach out, and we are happy to answer them directly or in our next Q&A.
Thank you.